Hello, everyone. Brady Charlie here. We're here to talk some BB23. Tonight was an eventful episode, Charlie.
Yeah,
There was
one
a
of the
lot of
more
stuff
eventful
to
Thursdays we've
unpack,
had.
and
Yeah.
and we didn't get an HOH tonight. So and this is something that they're not showing on feeds, to my knowledge, either. So
Nope.
we basically just have to wait until feeds come back up, which will be later on tonight. Um,
Yeah,
so this
potentially after
isn't
the
going to
West
be
Coast
like
area.
last week. Yeah, this isn't going to be like last week where we can sit and watch and give you guys updates as it goes. It's not an endurance comp, so we'll all we can do is to just follow the various Twitter feeds, and whether you're a Morty's BB guy or you're a Joker's or you're a BB updates or whatever. What's your go-to Twitter feed for the people that just live
I believe it's
tweet it?
BB updates. They're really good quotes, simple, nothing
Yeah,
crazy.
usually
They
all
run
their
a poll
tweets are
every
just
day.
quotes, right?
Yeah.
Except for the major things like, oh, feeds came back and so is HOH. So I think it's BB underscore updates. Good follow on Twitter. Anyway, let's get into it here, Charlie. Also, anyone that's popping in, feel free to hop in chat because we like to see your input and ask questions. This will be a fairly short episode for us today because we're not trying to just sit here forever. So, what up, Icy?
Welcome, Icy.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, fun
Um,
episode.
so, Charlie, most of this episode was centered around the cookout, right? Because we
Yep.
see that things are not quite as cohesive as they were when we went off air last week after the live episode. So, just general opinions. Cookout seeming to implode. Do you think this is all Tiffany's fault, or do you think it's a combination of a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination. Um, excuse me. I would say last week we were kind of talking about there was a little friction between Tiffany and Ozza, but I believe Derek F is now taking that friction to the next level. And I straight up don't. I mean, we kind of saw in the episode. I straight up don't think he likes Tiffany anymore. Now, I don't know. I mean, Derek, the Jokers. I mean, they're still calling themselves a team. I mean, they're really tight at the hip, and I think he would take Brittany over Tiffany every day. I think
Yeah,
he'd take Brittany over Tiffany every day, and that's
it's
kind
just
of
so
where
funny,
they're
right?
at.
That they've kind of, as you said, they locked themselves in with each other. And at this point, if they split up, it's bad for all of their games. So it's almost like they're, siblings and they have to stick it out with each other because that's their only option moving forward because they've put all their eggs in this basket. And when you have someone like Derek F, where sure, he could try to jump ship, but there's so many people that could burn him right now that are attached to the cookout that he's almost forced to work with people that he doesn't like, a la, Tiffany. Um, so I mean, as far as television goes, Derek is great TV, Charlie. I enjoy all of his segments.
I enjoyed it in this episode. He was pretty mad. He was definitely enjoyable to watch. And so was Tiffany. I'm liking. I mean, we were saying last week if Tiffany got her way, it would have been Sarah Beth going home. It almost looked like she was about to do that this episode. They were kind of teasing that, but
Mm-hmm.
she technically didn't get her way. Now it did not go the way that she predicted last week. So
So Flames popping in. Haven't watched the last two episodes. Yeah, Christian went home. For people that just watched the episode, and obviously, if you're on West Coast and you wait for live episodes, I mean, there's
7-2 vote.
probably hopping in podcasts are hard for you. But let's be honest, if you're a diehard West Coast, you find a way to stream the episode at the East Coast
Plenty of
time.
ways.
A lot of people do. So, yeah, Christian went home. Charlie, I gotta admit, let's talk about Christian going home for a second.
Derek
Yeah,
likes to
I see.
evoke.
We'll circle back on Derek F in a minute, but Jesus, let's talk about Christian going home really quick. So,
Okay.
um, Christian brought up a great point to Tiffany in the fact that he is the biggest physical threat to Derek X's game. Do you see um, do you see Derek kind of running everything as a physical competitor at this point in time, or do you see someone else stepping up?
I'm gonna say I don't see him running with it because Xavier's still there, and I feel like had Xavier not thrown last week, that would have been a long competition. Had he not have jumped at the end. See, yeah, Christian going home. On paper, it would be good for Tiffany, but the reality is, for the cookout, he was. I mean, the only one in their way now is Derek X, and Hannah's got him at the hip. So, and he can't play this week. So if they want to take him this week, they can.
Yeah, it's very interesting seeing a lot of the strong, quote unquote, strong guys, the more stereotypical physical competitors going home so far in the show, because we have a big jury, which we'll talk about in a second this year.
7 women.
Yeah. So seven women on the jury, and then what, 4 guys left? 7 women to 4 men.
Yep.
That's what we've got left. So that's impressive. And honestly, it's nice because it'll be cool if, let's say, Derek X somehow does go home next week and Xavier goes home soon. If we end up being in a world where these women who are playing more of a social game and not reliant on their physical strengths all of a sudden have to be reliant on their physical strengths to win these comps and actually pull out big victories later on in the game, it's going to make for some great TV. If someone like an Azza has to really power through a physical comp, and obviously if there's something that has to do with strength and speed, Azza is no match for someone like Derek X right now. But if he goes home, who's to say that she can't go through and beat Tiffany and beat Hannah and beat Bertini and all of these other girls?
Absolutely.
She absolutely could. So when you look at someone that going into the game probably wasn't the most confident in their physical abilities, all of these guys going home is great for everyone involved.
Yeah, and I think Brittany winning that veto, which was awesome, by the way. That, we always use this saying of she just wanted it more. It actually applied there because she went apeshit and she crushed the final competition in that, and it was awesome to watch. She genuinely did just want it more, as much as I hate that saying.
She was powering through.
And that was our first woman to win a HOH or veto this season. And now Christian's gone.
Yeah. I mean, Christian, what did he say? He said he did the math. He's won 57% of the comps or something that he's participated in. He wins over half. He
already won 5 competitions. So
that's wild. So
I mean, you could tell that he was the survivor guy, which I find funny.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about having a big jury moving forward. A lot of people, I see, not a lot of people, but people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it's guaranteed to be a female winner." Oh, Cat making a return.
Oh, it's good, kitty.
So a lot of people say that because there's so many women, it's guaranteed to be a female victor because all the women are just going to vote for other women. But I don't get that vibe from this cast. I think everyone is playing it very fair. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. And, well, something else. I mean, the Cookout, if one member of the Cookout gets in the final, they have all the votes to make them the winner no matter what. And so if no one catches on to the Cookout.
Or the Cookout entirely implodes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's funny is that you look at, we talked about going back to Derek F and Tiffany. If Tiffany makes it to the final, even if Derek F is a reason why she got there, he might be a reason why she's in the final, but he also could be a reason why she loses the game if he really doesn't like her that much.
I could see an Xavier Tiffany final. I mean, unless they go at each other, but it's looking like it's going to, if the Cookout does break off, they're going to be on the same side. But there also might be 3 sides of the Cookout. Kylan's kind of in a world on his own. And now Sarah Beth's staying. Kylan, Sarah Beth, they're like kind of all booed up. It's really, I don't know. And a lot of the Cookout doesn't seem to trust him right now either. And from what we don't really know his true number 1. If he might take Sarah Beth over a Cookout member.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, the Cookout's in a good spot as long as they're not imploding. So right now, it's best for everyone to just stay the course, and they'll have to cut each other off eventually. It's the alliances that do the best in the game are not the ones that are amazingly strong all the way through. It's the ones that are just strong enough to when they're down to if it's an alliance of 4, if they get down to the final 8, and then they can make it through the 8th person and the 7th person and get through those 1 or 2 weeks, not trying to make that move too quick, because a lot of alliances in Big Brother history, there's one person that says, "Oh, I need to make a move against someone in my alliance before someone else does." And it ends up being 2 weeks too early, and it hurts everyone involved. So
Absolutely.
if the Cookout can just hold on for maybe 3 more weeks, all
I think
intact,
that's
they're
really
golden.
dependent on who wins the HOH tonight.
Yeah,
I see you
tonight's a
brought up a
very
good
big
point
HOH.
here. Derek X, way too nice for taking that punishment over the 5K because Sarah Beth was crying. I could not believe he did that. That should have been a reason to send her home, to be honest. If he was really petty, he would have been like, all right, you know what? Fine. You want the 5K? Enjoy. You can go home now.
That's all right. America's favorite house guest wins more than 5K, and Derek X is solidly in the driver's seat for that award right now.
And 750K is worth more than 5K. So if that's a part of playing the game, it is. That's tough.
Think about it. Now, did Derek X do that because he was trying to win Sarah Beth over? No, he did it because he was a nice guy. But will that also potentially help him if he gets to the final 2 when Sarah Beth's on the fence? Yes, it will.
Yeah, say it's him and Alyssa in the final 2. And she's like, you know what, Derek? I remember what you did for me 18 weeks ago.
So what's the most interesting situation of someone winning tonight? I think we have to root for a non-Cookout member, right, for TV's sake.
Because I think the easiest nominations are a combo of Brittany, Sarah Beth, and Alyssa.
Yeah.
I'm
Alyssa
cool with
would be a
Brittany
very
win.
easy person to get rid of this week since Christian went home this week.
I would like to see Alyssa win. I would like to see Brittany win. I'm so curious what Brittany has up her sleeve. I think Brittany could put up Kylan and Sarah Beth. I think those would be good nominations. So you could put up Kylan and Derek X. Brittany could be like, she could have some really fun nominations.
I'm kind of rooting for the Alyssa HOH myself. I think Alyssa
Same.
And if she really just had the cojones to take out 2 members, if she really kind of caught on to the Cookout now.
Well, I think she put up Derek X no matter what.
Yeah, agreed.
So, and then as we know, the Cookout has the votes no matter what, unless slip on a water,
Well, if 2
slip on a
people
banana.
end up getting, against each other.
I'm cool with Brittany HOH.
Could we see a situation where Alyssa wins HOH and Tiffany ends up completely blowing up the alliance and selling people out and getting them to go home?
I don't know. It's so hard because I think if put in the right position, maybe they could, just low key take her out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Claire and Derek X were talking, and they were talking about their next targets being Alyssa and Sarah Beth. It's like, you guys, you have no idea. The Cookout, people have no idea the Cookout exists.
Right.
It's because they have tension with each other. It's hidden
Yeah.
in plain sight because of that.
No, it's true, and it's genuine. It's genuine tension. It's not some sort of fabricated thing where people would be able to see through it. They genuinely have a little bit of disdain for each other. So, who are our overthinkers currently in the house? The ones that they could get so in their own head that they end up blowing things up. And we look at people like Claire. We haven't had to see her have to make a
Claire
bunch
has
of
been
decisions yet
chilled.
because Claire has been safe. And so why rock the boat at all? Just hang out, get as much information as possible, and then play when you have to play. So we don't know where, Claire's head is at. We don't know exactly what what her plans
I don't know
are.
what Hannah would do. I mean, I guess Sarah Beth and Alyssa maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Sarah Beth would like to take a shot at some people. So we don't really know, but we know that Tiffany has a tendency to get in her own head. We know that Derek F has a tendency
Tiffany
to get
plays so far ahead, it catches her all the time.
Mm-hmm. Derek F definitely gets in his own head. I think Brittany and Derek X are probably the best 2 at playing hard but knowing when to rein it back currently.
Derek X is in a scary spot now.
Yeah.
Because I think if Xavier won, he knows.
Xavier's playing a good game. Xavier's playing a really good game right now.
And he is in good with both sides of the Cookout. He's in good with Claire. He's in good with Derek X. He's in good with, everyone.
He can swindle Alyssa over to him now that Christian's gone.
Dude, there's no way Christian's not a little nervous.
We gonna talk about that kiss, bro? That was a little long.
Oh, I didn't realize we were watching Love Island already. I mean, I was pretty surprised. I mean, he just went for it. I did get a good pop out of everyone around him hooting and hollering.
That was pretty good. Me. Yeah, that was good. All right, so we wanted to cap this episode at about 20 minutes. So let's talk about let's circle back first. Derek F not knowing how to evict,
yes,
as he said.
That's something I've been paying attention to every time, and he did it again.
He still can't get it. I mean, listen, at least we knew his intent this week when all he said was, he said, "I sadly vote Christian."
He says,
"That's what he said."
Vote.
Did he?
I sadly to a vote Christian.
There's no way. I think
yes, it's e-vote. That's like his. I don't know what
e-vote. E-vote.
I sadly to a vote Christian. Does he get nervous? There's no way. I don't. Part of me thinks he's kind of doing it on purpose, but I don't. Can he do it 5 times in a row on purpose?
Is he trying to like make it seem like he's an idiot? I don't know.
Maybe it's to have his own little soundbite. I mean, hey, I wouldn't put it past anyone, but
yeah,
at this point, Julie even corrected him last week.
That's something that I noticed. If I was in the house, the easiest way to make sure you're on TV and that people see your face more is to have these juicy jury sessions and have these things that make you stick out, right? So you have someone like a Tiffany where maybe she really wasn't that conflicted, or like when Brittany popped in was like, I'm completely on the fence and I don't know which way I'm voting. You could just say that in the jury and you already know that soundbite's going to make TV, even if it's a guaranteed vote. So if you ever end up on Big Brother, guys, even if you don't really mean it, you could say something that would be juicy for the TV show. That way you make air more, which increases your chances of, America's favorite player. If that's always going to be in the back of your mind, I think I am not the believer in people saying, oh, if you're playing for America's favorite player, you can't win the game. No, you can do both. You can be likable and win the game. People think you have to be a really good social
game. It could be done.
People say that you have to just play like a jerk in order to win the game, but you don't. We've had plenty of nice person winners. All right, Charlie. So we have this twist that was just BB for BB24. So we had this twist that popped up, the BB high roller room. This is a common thing that's been happening in past years where we have an extra room that's built in. It's upstairs. We know exactly where it's located, and they always save this extra room for the coup d'etat and various things.
Oh yeah.
So we already know. Julie mentioned the 3 powers. So one was the power to take yourself off the block, which is probably the lowest high roller comp that they could get. She said a double veto, right? She said win the veto twice. So I guess your power would be you can take one or both of the people off the block in that given week. And then the third one was the diamond power of veto as we know it, which is not only do you get to take someone off the block, but you get to name the replacement nominee instead of the HOH. So the way that it works is America's going to vote on a house guest that they want to get money. Quack popped in and said, who got evicted? Christian was evicted.
By a vote of 7-2.
So America gets to vote for their house guest that they want to basically earn money. The top 3 vote getters get $100. The second 3 get $75, and then the remaining get $50. And then they can save up their money over the next 3 weeks, or they can go for one of those prizes. So probably this first week, the only one you're going to be able to afford is that bottom one, if I had to guess, which is still pretty good, being able to take yourself off the block if you're on. But Charlie, the question is, who are you voting for? I know I haven't voted yet. Who are you voting for?
Yeah, so we do a text message of the name to 97979. And I just sent mine out, and I voted for Alyssa. I think it'd be fun to see what she does with the power. I think she has, again, she's kind of, she is kind of in the most underdog role in the house. So I would just like to see it. I think that's where I'm at. I'm rooting, I think, for her. I'm rooting for Alyssa and Xavier right now, I think. That's kind of where I'm at following this week. And Tiffany always, but
I just sent my vote in, and out of a show of respect for that veto comp, Brittini.
Nice.
We're voting Brittini. I think I like people that are kind of sitting in the middle. She's in a good spot, and it's like
I really liked her in that veto comp. That was fun. That was a fun competition.
And who knows what she'd do if she got in power. But anyway, don't want to make this super long-winded or just over 20 minutes. And I appreciate you guys popping in. If you just happen to pop in, you're like, no, I just got here. What happened to the long episodes? Not every episode's got to be an hour long. And last week was long anyway. So
next endurance comp will be here.
Yep. So anyway, we'll be back at the latest next Thursday. If something major happens, then we might poke on. But until then, make sure to like and subscribe. Click the little bell so you know when we go live. Bing! And till next time, guys.